When I was 11 years old, we came to Gilroy in 1961 to one of the farm labor camps there. What I did not like was the fact that the owners of the orchards had so much control over us. We don't have any basic necessities, electricity and hot water. Simply put, it's like, this doesn't seem right to me. I'm Olga Talamante. I am officially retired, but I'm an organizer in the community, an activist and advocate, and then being part of the LGBTQ movement and community. I have been an activist and I've held leadership positions in those organizations. I really can trace it back to having been a farm worker and having grown up in the fields and having seen the inequities our peoples, our families were suffering. It was around 1968 that there was a farm worker union that was beginning to organize farm workers. It was for the dignity of us as farm workers. I was ready. I said, absolutely, this needs to happen, sign me up. But it was only until I went to UC Santa Cruz in 1969, and there was a committee, it was called the Boycott Committee, which was in support of the United Farm Workers Union. And then I also became a field organizer to sign up farm workers out in the fields to see if they wanted to request a vote on a union. Family by family, we're not going to be able to make any changes. We'd have to come together. So when in 1973, I was going to go study Latin American studies because that was my major. I was part of an organizing team in one of the poorest barrios of the city of Azul. And it was the same kind of thing. No medical care, no transportation. This isn't right. And then very quickly there, things started moving towards the more repressive government, to the point where in 1974, the government established these laws, which were called a state of siege. So everything that we had been doing became illegal. I was arrested along with 12 other people coming out of a meeting. We were tortured and interrogated and held incommunicado until then we were transferred. I spent 16 months in prison. Fortunately for me, my family and friends organized a whole campaign. It's called the Olga Talamante Defense Campaign. So my mother was, in essence, really the leader of the campaign to get me out. She was the spokesperson. She's the one that would speak in front of public officials. She would make the enchiladas for the fundraisers, and people say she would just wash her hands and go on stage and then talk about why she wanted people to support the campaign so that she could bring her daughter home. My case was calling too much attention to the situation in Argentina, so they decided to release me. So I came back in March of 1976. I had been freed, I had been released. I felt a responsibility to do what I could for those that still remained. So when I came back, I started organizing to denounce what was going on in Argentina, ask for the freedom of other political prisoners, to have the US government cut off the military aid and economic aid that it was providing for Argentina, because those were our tax dollars. So we launched a campaign after I came back, went to Washington, D.C., and we were able to cut off the military aid. Then continued in various ways, again, to organize in the community. The one thing about farm work is you really do not work by yourself. You really do work in teams. Listen and learn and put yourself at the service of others. Si prometes hacer algo, hazlo. That is how things will get done.